Hey, what is up, everybody? Hope all you guys had a great week. Thanks for joining me here for the weekly Monday live chat here on Snowboard Pro Camp. I'll be here for the next hour, trying to answer as many questions as possible from you guys. So just go ahead, start dropping as many questions as you'd like. I'll start going through here in a minute. Try to answer as many questions as I can. Anything snowboard related, snowboard gear, snowboard advice, traveling, any of that kind of stuff. And if you want to let me know where you're joining us from as well, it's always awesome to hear where you guys are from. We've got such a great community here on Snowboard Pro Camp. I'm sure you guys are scattered all over. Shout out to everyone staying up late to be here on the live chat right now. Appreciate you guys. So yeah, just got back from a recent Colorado trip just a few days ago. If you guys been following the Instagram, it's good to be back in Whistler. Still not a whole lot of snow down in the lower elevations here in the village, as you can see. But opening day is coming up, so just about 3 days. Thursday is going to be opening day. It'll be interesting to see what the conditions are like. Hopefully, they'll have something pretty fun for us. I'm sure there'll be a park. And I think maybe we'll have to upload, but I think you can even see a little bit right there. It's a little bit overexposed up in the corner, but there is some snow up at the higher elevation. So looking forward for Whistler opening up, getting out there with Kevin and Chris and Andreas and everyone up here in Whistler. Should be a good time. And a great time out in Colorado as well. Got to meet up with Ryan Napton, saw Casey Willax out there, Jonathan Buckhouse, a bunch of those guys. So that was a nice trip, getting back on snow, doing some carving. And so I got the Yes Basic review up recently, so hopefully you guys check that out. And after the live stream, probably about 2 hours after the live stream, just to space it out a little bit, I'm gonna have the Jones flagship snowboard review. So that's going to be going up on the channel today. Still got some videos coming. Gonna get my 2019 gear list out soon as well. So that's coming up. And I see we got quite a few people on the live chat already. We got like 145 people. Shout out to all you guys. I saw Bo on the live chat. What's up, Bo? Hope you're doing good, man. Got to hang out with Bo in Colorado as well. He's going to be up in Whistler at the beginning of January, just before we leave to the Japan trip. If you guys have been following us on Instagram, Kevin and I both just posted a gram from our last trip in February to Hakuba. So check that out. My handle on Instagram is @Boardarchive. Kevin's is @Snowboardprocamp if you want to see that. So yeah, it's going to be good to shred with you, man. Let's see who else we got on here. We got Zeke Larson, Buck Snabes. What's up, man? Jackson Niven. What's going on, guys? Let's see. I'll go up to the top here. We got John Lucifer Morningstar, In Motion SLB, Yannick Narav. What's going on, guys? See you guys chatting about the thumbnail there. Yep, that was a little butter action on the Yes Basic. It's not a super soft snowboard, but that rocker and the tips, and it's like a medium soft flex, so you can get some nice flex out of it. It's a pretty fun board. Definitely check out the review. Tanner W, how's it going? And guys, this is a super chat as well, so if you have a question that you really want to make sure to get answered, you can always drop a super chat. It highlights the question for me. Also a good way to help to support the channel. Lauren got out snowboarding today, indoors, but that's what's up. Hope you had a good day out there, Lauren. Tanner W. Shout out to the East Coast viewers here on the chat today. D, greetings from Northern Germany. What's up, D? Ella, Zach Strasberger. What's going on, guys? We got almost 200 people on the chat right now. If you guys want to give the video a thumbs up, helps to get other people knowing about these live chats. That'd be awesome, guys. Ethan Brown gonna be in Whistler in 2 days. Awesome. So Wednesday or Thursday, you're gonna make it in just before opening day, or are you arriving on opening day? That's what's up, man. Maybe we can link up for some laps at some point. Frostbite. Can you do a backflip on a small jump? Definitely. Yep, you can do a backflip off surprisingly small features. I don't throw too many backflips, but yeah, you'll see people do it off just like tiny bumps and rollers and stuff. You just got to whip it a little bit faster. I wouldn't recommend that for your first one. For your first backflip, try to find some nice soft snow, some powder, and you know, a decent little kicker to get you up in the air there. Dennis from the Netherlands. Callan plays. When does Whistler open? Whistler opens on Thursday, the 22nd, Thanksgiving Day. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be, Whistler's been really quiet recently, and I think once opening day hits, it's about to get wild. There's going to be so many people everywhere. It'll be a nice change though. Art from San Jose, Rudy from California. Shout out Brandon Hamilton. Robert Holshoe, will you ever come out to Trollhagen in Wisconsin? You guys could make really good content and progress in the park with the tow ropes. You know, I know about Troll. I've seen tons of videos out there. The features look so fun. It looks like a great park, man, and super jealous of the tow rope situation you guys have going on out there. So maybe one day. We've got lots of plans this season. We're trying to go all over, so I don't want to promise anything, but we're gonna try to get to a lot of awesome places this year. Kicking off soon. Uh, 11 p.m. in Germany, reasonable time. Thanks, D. Thanks for staying up, man. Ludo Grot from France. Snowhopper from Montana. Jose Bautista from the Ice Coast, New Jersey. Awesome, guys. Sweet. Well, thank all you guys for being here. I think we got a couple of super chats that came through already. Let's see what we got going on here. Oh, man. Shout out to everyone for the super chats. We got Soapy. How's the snow looking up there? Well, as you can see, not much snow at the lower elevations right now, man, but there is some snow higher up, so I'm hoping we'll be able to ride to mid-station, and yeah, it'll be really interesting to see like what kind of setup they got going on. I'm sure they'll have some kind of small park setup. There's some natural snow up there. I'm sure they're blasting a bunch of man-made snow as well, so it'll be interesting to see how it is. It'll be it should be fun though. I'm looking forward to finally having a resort open in my backyard again. Ella. Hey TJ, are balaclavas with holes better for wetness? So I think she means for like, you know, if you wear a face mask over your mouth, a lot of times that moisture can make the face mask wet. It can even freeze if it's really cold and get kind of uncomfortable. I've never really rocked an air hole face mask. Usually I just keep it pulled down below my mouth most of the time, and then when I'm riding and I got that wind in my face and that wind chill starts to get really cold, I'll pull it up for like short amounts of time to avoid that. Kevin has had an air hole face mask in the past, so maybe if you come back to the live chat on Friday, he could answer that a little bit better. Chris Kokalis, brief review / thoughts on the Capita Mercury. So I have ridden the Mercury a couple of seasons ago. I wasn't able to film on it, unfortunately, or I'd have a review for you guys. But yeah, it's a fun kind of like, from what I remember, it was like a fun free ridey kind of board. It was good for carving. It had good stability. It had great pop as well. It actually was pretty comparable to the DOA, I thought. So it was kind of like a free ride board that was still park friendly. You know, maybe if you want to do a few laps in the park, I definitely wouldn't recommend it as a park board, but you know, more of a free ride kind of carving trees. It would be all right in powder as well kind of board. Good stability also. But yeah, I'll be doing a review on the Mercury this season, so we'll get that full review going. Gina, how do you fit your goggles, beanie, or your goggles, beanie and goggles under your helmet? Do you size up? Having trouble even fitting my goggles under. No, I don't size up, but what I do is, so with the sandbox helmets that Kevin and I wear, and I think most helmets, honestly, they come with like padding on the inside of the helmet, like kind of like foam comfort padding. And so when I'm wearing the beanie and the goggles under the helmet, I just take the padding out. And I wear a size large sandbox. So that's what works for me. But yeah, and then, if I just want to wear like a balaclava and goggles, because the beanie adds most of the thickness, really, then I just throw the padding back in. So I would be wearing the same size either way. But yeah, I don't know. Honestly, yeah, try taking the padding out, see if that works for you. If you size up, it's going to be a bit of a bulkier look, perhaps. So I would maybe try to avoid that, but whatever works for you. Sean with the super chat. TJ, what are the dates you'll be in Hakuba in February? I missed out on meeting you guys in Perisher because of my fractured humerus. Would love to meet. Oh man, I'm so sorry to hear that. Hopefully you had a good recovery on the humerus, man. That's one of the bones I would really like to avoid breaking. It's just scary to think about. So hopefully it wasn't too bad for you. I'm sure it wasn't great, but hopefully you have a good recovery. You'll be back riding soon, it sounds like. So Japan this year, we're actually not going to go to Hakuba. We're going to be in Niseko. We're just finalizing all the details on that. If you check out the recent posts on Instagram, we talk about that a little bit. And so it looks like it'll be most of January. So like January 7th to around the 23rd, I'll be snowboarding in Niseko. So we'll have a big group of people. It'll be really fun out there. So hopefully we can meet up in Japan, man. That'd be rad. Really, really looking forward to that trip. It's going to be so fun. GKW Loki. Hey, writing from Germany. Step-on Photon or Ion? I haven't tried the Ions with the step-on bindings. I haven't been keeping up with the step-ons too much this season. I'm not too sure what boots they're adding to the line. So if they did add the Ion, that's rad that they're getting a little bit more variety out there for you guys. But I rode the Ruler and the Photon last season, and honestly, even at the Photon level, I found that it was a little bit more responsive than I wanted. I enjoyed the Rulers more personally, and I know the Ions are going to be even more aggressive than that. So I would probably go with the Photon between those two. I think the way that heel mechanism attaches the boot to the binding, it makes it feel really responsive heel to toe. So that was just my thoughts, though. I preferred a bit of a softer boot. And Vesperly with a good super chat here. What happens when you ride a snowboard too small, and what goggles would you recommend? Yeah, so with snowboard sizing, it's a little bit tricky. It varies from brand to brand, and it's primarily based off of your weight. So with that being said, you're probably going to fall within a few different sizes, probably at least 2 sizes at whatever snowboard you're looking at. So if you get on the smaller size, you're still within that weight range. So you're on like more the lower end or the higher end of the weight range. Sorry. It's going to feel a little bit softer, a little bit more pressable, a little bit easier to control, and it's going to be shorter as well. So it'll be a little bit more maneuverable, and so those are going to be kind of the advantages. And then if you're on the lower end, so you're riding a board that's a little bit bigger, it's going to feel a little bit more stable, and it's just going to be, you're basically sacrificing maneuverability for stability, but. Not too big of a difference, but I would say, like for example, I rode the DOA 154 and 156, and I did notice a decent difference in the stiffness in the 156. So if you ride a board that's like legit too small, like you're not even in the size range, you're probably gonna break it because it's just gonna be way too soft and flexy. But and as far as goggles that I would recommend, this year I'm riding the Smith Squad XL goggles. I think those are pretty solid. They come in at a really fair price. You get 2 lenses. They got Smith Chroma Pop, which is like that color optimization tech. I've been pretty happy with them. They sit pretty close to my face. I've got pretty decent peripherals, but not as good peripherals as the Oakley flight decks I was wearing last season. So the Oakley flight decks are some of my favorite goggles. The Smith Mammoth Squad XL are great. The Dragon NFX I think is another good pair, so maybe check those out. Kevin likes the Oakley Line Miners. I think those are great as well. So those are all good options for you. Paul O, what's up, Paul? Hope you're doing well today, man. I think Ryan Napton wants you to move back to Colorado. Yeah, man, it was great to see Ryan. I got a nice video talking about what makes a snowboard good for carving up on the Boardarchive channel if you guys want to check that out. And yeah, I definitely miss all the Colorado homies. It's good to see everyone last week. Alex Cole, what are your thoughts on the Solomon Villain? I haven't ridden the Villain in a couple of years, so I've heard they've stiffened it up a little bit since I've ridden it. But the last time I rode it, I remember it was just like kind of a good all-around park kind of board. It was camber between the feet, rocker in the nose and tail. And the way Solomon does their camber is a little bit different. The camber is actually under your feet, and then between your feet it's flat. But the way they do it, if you put it on a flat surface, it looks like camber between the feet. So yeah, it's a pretty good all-around park board, I'd say. Probably a bit closer to a mid flex now that they've stiffened it up. I felt like it was a little bit soft last time I rode it. Excuse me, guys. James with the super chat here. What is the biggest problem with snowboard equipment? Snow buildup, sitting in snow to strap on, iced up ratchets, or something else? Great videos. Awesome. Thanks, James. Yeah, great question, man. Biggest problem with snowboard equipment. I mean, I feel like if you know what the conditions are going to be, you can be pretty well prepared for all that type of stuff. Definitely snow buildup is a thing that happens in most conditions, you know, powder or groomers. You're going to get some snow building up in the binding, so every run I just like to kind of wipe that snow out of the bindings real quick. And sitting in snow to strap in does not have to be part of your routine, man. Just use your heel edge to dig a little bit of a shelf while you're strapped up with one foot. Get that shelf going, and then you can actually stand and strap in your back foot. That way you don't have to actually sit down on the snow. And iced up ratchets isn't something that I usually have trouble with either. I feel like maybe if your bindings are a little bit older and the springs are getting worn out, that can be something that happens. But as long as your gear's in good shape, I don't think those things are really going to bother you too much. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's maybe something else that really stands out to me as a problem. I think that there's various little things that can go wrong with any particular piece of gear, but there's nothing that's really sticking out too much to me, man. Thanks for the super chat, James. Lei Yi, shout out from Seattle. What's up, man? What's the difference between the Union Force and the Union Team Forces other than the look? Going to Whistler mid-December, looking forward to it. Awesome. Hope you have a great trip, man. Yeah, the Union Force is a solid binding. I rode it all last year. Really enjoyed that binding. Kevin's actually riding the Force this year. So the difference between the Force and the Team Forces, which they are offering to the public this year, or at least the white ones with the solid high back that have that Union logo that are very well branded. Those are going to have upgraded straps. I forget the name of the new straps. They used to be called Exo Frame, but they got a new name for the straps this year. So you're basically going to get the upgraded straps, and that's about it. They're going to be very, very similar performance. But I have been riding those straps on the Strata recently, and I'm stoked on them. They're super comfortable. Once you get strapped into the binding, the ankle strap pretty much disappears. So it's pretty rad. I don't know if there's a price difference between them, but the upgraded strap is pretty cool. Safe travels up to Whistler, man. Hopefully we'll see you up here. And the last super chat right now from Malpractice, just with a couple thumbs up emojis. Shout out, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for the support. I'll keep an eye out for a question if you had any. Petite, how is your shoulder? Shoulder's good, man. Yeah, full range of motion in the shoulder now. Really happy with how fast it's been healing, but really just trying to focus on strengthening it now at this point. So actually looking into getting back in the gym this week and starting to do kind of some weight training exercises, some swimming and stuff like that, trying to get it strengthened back up. Yeah, I was a little overly optimistic, I think, on the trip to Colorado. I really thought, you know, with how good it was feeling, that I'd be able to snowboard just fine. But I found like any abrupt motions, like really quickly raising my arms, or you know, definitely falling, even gentle falls, catching myself, still needs a little time. So keeping it mellow out there, but looking forward to getting back on snow. Thanks for asking, man. Donovan Allen, what is your favorite snowboard? Man, I couldn't choose just one favorite if I tried, but this year, a couple of my favorites are the Arbor Westmark Camber. That's one of my daily drivers. The Ride Twin Pig I've really been enjoying as well, and the Battalion Evil Twin is one of my favorites also. So there's a lot of good boards out there, but there's three of them. Those are all actually fairly similar. If you know about all the tech and those boards in particular, you'll know that they're a little bit different, but flex wise they're pretty similar. Lucifer Morningstar, thoughts on the 2019 Burton Genesis? Thanks, bro. I don't know if that's a typo there, John, but yeah, I don't know if the Genesis has changed much from this year. It's a really aggressive, stiff binding, high performance, great responsiveness, good support. You know, more of a free ride kind of burly binding for those of you that like to ride real fast and get in those higher impact scenarios. Jose Bautista with the super chat. What's up, everyone? TJ rode the Capita Outer Space Living for the first time at Mount Snow, and it's great. Thanks for the review. Hashtag Burrito Fund. Awesome. Thanks, Jose. Yeah, I'm glad you're stoked on it, man. Glad you're able to get out to Mount Snow already. I saw my home mountain in North Carolina actually opened recently, so it's sick to see all the opening days go down. The season is upon us, guys. And yeah, the Outer Space Living, that's actually one of the boards in my quiver this year as well. I think it's a real fun kind of jibby board. I might try it out in powder as well because it's got those rockered tips. So yeah, really fun board. Rode it a bunch in Australia. Glad you're liking it, dude. Tanner W, what are your thoughts on cinch bindings? I'm not familiar with cinch bindings, man. Could you maybe elaborate a little bit? Is that a brand? Is that a style of binding? Maybe I'm just not understanding you the right way. But thanks for the super chats, guys. Keep an eye out for more questions from you. Darth Plays, thoughts on the Never Summer Fun Slinger? Great snowboard, one of my favorites from Never Summer for sure. It's going to run that ripsaw camber profile, so a little bit more camber underfoot than the regular rocker camber. Still overall going to be that rocker dominant profile, so and it's like a medium soft flex, so it's pretty buttery, going to be pretty easy for pressing and things like that. A nice jibby snowboard, ASIM side cut, Vario power grip in the side cut as well to help out a little bit on ice. Yeah, really fun, kind of freestyle focused snowboard in my opinion. You can definitely cruise around and have fun outside of the park, but it's not super stable. And so likewise on jumps, you know, I actually, there's a dude from North Carolina who rides for Never Summer. His name's Tyler Flanagan, if you guys know who he is. And he hits the biggest jumps on the Never Summer Fun Slinger. And I've actually talked to him about it. And he rides a pretty short size, shorter than I thought he would. So you can definitely make it do what you want. But in my opinion, it's if you're doing that type of stuff, you got to be pretty careful about how you land, making sure that your weight's centered, because the tips really don't have that much stability. So it's super impressive to see that. But yeah, it's a fun board, man. Thanks for all the questions today, guys. Malpractice picked up the Union Contact 2018. How do you think they are? Yeah, I think the Contact is a great binding. That's actually another one that I've ridden quite a bit. Not last season, but the season before. I rode it all season, and yeah, it's a pretty flexy binding. So it's got a fun kind of adds a little bit of a surfy feel to the riding. Really good park binding. I was using them for everything and they worked pretty well, but I think if you're really looking for an all-arounder, you might want to get something that's a little bit stiffer. But they're fun and they feel good and they're comfortable. So yeah, I think you'll like them, coming at a good price as well. Walker Lambert. Will I catch an edge a lot on the GNU headspace? Thanks. I don't think that it's super catchy. It doesn't have anything like uprise fenders or 3BT or anything that's going to make it super catch free. So it's going to feel pretty much, like your typical cambered board. The headspace pretty much feels like a full positive camber board. I don't think that the magnet traction or the ASIM side cut makes it any more catchy. I don't think it's particularly catchy, man. I think you're going to enjoy it. That's actually one of my favorite snowboards. I owned it a couple of years ago, rode it a ton, and I reviewed it again this year. Still feels just the same. So hope you enjoy it, man. The headspace is rad. Got a lot of good tech in there. All right, let me check out these super chats again here. Grant Christopher, greetings from Hawaii. Any thoughts on the new K2 broadcast? What's up, Grant? Thanks for the super chat. No, unfortunately, I'm not familiar with the broadcast, man. I'll have to check out K2's line a little bit more. Yeah, the last K2 I rode, I think, was the After Black. I've ridden a few of their boards. I'd like to get on the Worldwide Weapon again this year, and I'll check out the broadcast as well. So yeah, hopefully I'll get some good access to K2 at some point this year. But unfortunately, not familiar with it at this point, Grant. I'm sorry, man. John, upgrading Cartel base plates to the Genesis base plates, creating some sort of crazy Burton hybrid binding. Awesome, dude. I hope that works out for you. Sorry to hear you broke your base plates, but glad to hear that it sounds like they hooked you up with some new ones, so that's good. And Bobby Petner with the super chat here. First park board, Evil Twin, Huck Knife, or DOA? Ooh. Honestly, I'd probably go if you want something you're gonna be able to get presses pretty easily with and still have fun on like those smaller to medium sized jumps. I'd say as long as you're not really trying to send it and progress on jumps this year, I'd probably go Huck Knife. Otherwise, if you want, something a little sturdier, maybe go Evil Twin. I think the DOA might be a little bit much for pure park. I mean, the DOA is an amazing park board, don't get me wrong, but between those choices, I think you might have more fun on the jibs on the other two, particularly the Huck Knife, and then I'd say Evil Twin for jumping. Justin Vasey, what's up, Justin? Hope all is well, man. Good to see you on the chat. Stoked for Mammoth in 2 weeks. Hashtag Taco Fund. Awesome. Yeah, opening days are coming up, man. Is Mammoth already? Mammoth is already open, actually, isn't it? I'm not sure. Or Bear. There's something in California already open. But yeah, sick to hear you're gonna get on snow, Justin. Enjoy the new quiver this year. I know you've got a board or two. Stan Deeks. Yes, basic decade at all? Angry just did a review. So I was just on the regular basic. So the decade I believe is a little bit different. I know it's like significantly more expensive. So I imagine they threw quite a bit of tech in there. Haven't ridden it yet, but yes is on the horizon this year. So I'd like to get on the Typo. The Greats is one that you guys have shouted out a lot. The Standard, Pick Your Line. I'd really like to get on the Yes 2020, if you guys have heard about that one. That one sounds pretty interesting. And then yeah, the Yes Basic Decade. There's so many boards, guys. I'm gonna try to get on as many as I can, but I have not ridden the Decade yet. And Jack with the super chat, looking for new bindings for his LibTech All Mountain, which I believe that is that's oh man, Jamie's board, right? Jamie Lynn, his like kind of All Mountain powder board. I'd be looking at like, honestly, I think the Stratas would work really well. I've been really happy with the Stratas as an all-arounder, or maybe even the Union Atlas. I think maybe a little bit more less tweakable than the Stratas, but pretty similar as well. Yeah, I'd probably go Atlas, honestly. Atlas or Strata. And we've got Yev here. Boa or laces? What do you prefer? Personally, I prefer the standard lace-up boots, just because I rode a Boa boot once many years ago, and I'm considering maybe trying a Boa boot. But I think with the laces, there's just a few advantages. In particular, you can get every single ring, not just the lower zone or upper zone or on a single Boa, it just tightens up the whole boot. So you got a little bit more control over the fit of the boot on every individual ring there. So if you're having a pressure point, you can kind of help to alleviate that with the way that you lace it up. And also, if you do pop a lace, it's really easy to just swap that lace out. So I'm on the Adidas Tactical ADV this year. Been really stoked on them so far. They broke in a good bit after like 4 or 5 days of riding, so they're feeling a little bit softer now. But still some good stability there. I'm actually really happy with them now that they've broken in. They were feeling a little bit stiff at first. So yeah, that's just my personal preference, man. I think boas are great too. If you're gonna get a boa boot and you're looking for something more high performance, definitely go with a double boa. So at least you have that lower zone and that upper zone control over the fit there. Lucy Appleton, what snowboard do you recommend for going fast? Actually, the review that's going up today, the Jones Flagship, something I think I specifically say that in the review. So yeah, the Flagship is a great one. The United Shapes Orbit is another one that's super sturdy. The Never Summer 25. Yeah, there's a lot of good boards. The Ride Helix, that one could be pretty good as well. But the Flagship is a beast for sure. Check out the Jones Flagship. George, hi from Austria. Servus. Thoughts on the Scott Stevens Pro 2019? Shout out, George. Hope all is well in Austria, man. Hope to be back there at some point this year. Yeah, the Scott Stevens. Honestly, it's pretty similar to the Ultra Fear in my opinion. If you want to see it being ridden on snow, check out the Union binding comparison video. You can maybe get a little bit of an idea how it rides from that video. Also, I don't think it's really changed too much since I did the review on it. So you could check out the review. That was actually the 2018 Stevens. But yeah, it's going to have that flat to rocker profile, decent pop, decent stability. It's a fun all-around park board, I'd say. Jano, what do you think of the Jones Mountain Twin? Jones Mountain Twin is a great board, man. If you're looking for something that's sturdy, going to be fun for all mountain riding, hitting natural terrain, getting in the trees, riding natural features like maybe popping 180s, doing some cliff drops, that type of stuff off natural features, I think the Flagship is a ton of fun. It's pretty stiff. It's going to have that magna traction, that wavy edge as well. Camber profile. Fun snowboard, man. Yeah. That's kind of the style of riding I'd recommend it for. And super chat came through here from Matt Valentine. What's up, Matt? Happy Thanksgiving. Best advice for layering based on the weather. I'm usually off by 1 layer either way. Don't want to carry extra layers. Oh man, that's tough. Yeah, so what I do is I usually always have a backpack for the cameras and stuff whenever I'm riding. So this mid layer here, it's the Arc'teryx Atom LT is the mid layer that I wear. And it's really, really packable. So I just keep that in my backpack. If I get too cold, I can always throw this on. I wear this a lot underneath hoodies and stuff too. So you can still, kind of have that spring feel, but if you get cold, throw this on and it keeps you really warm. But yeah, man. I would say, do your best to just judge the conditions of the day, check the forecast, see what the temperature is going to be, and try to match it. So, like as an example, if it's going to be like 25 degrees Fahrenheit or like between 20 and 25, I'll usually wear my base layer, the Air Blaster Ninja suit, a t-shirt, a hoodie, and a shell, and I feel pretty good all day. At least until the sun starts to go down, I feel pretty good. So yeah, I would say that's really the best you can do out of keeping something like a packable mid layer to bring along, if you do get too cold. Very condition based there. Liam, what are a good budget pair of mittens? Um, there were these Oakley mittens that I was wearing in the summer. If you go back to some of the Mount Hood videos this summer, you can find the links in the description there. I forget what they were called exactly, but I'm pretty sure there's still some available online, and they were like $30. Normally they were like 70 or 80, and they're actually pretty great mittens. So maybe check those out. Um, as far as like brand new budget, Kinkos maybe. I know a lot of people love the Kinkos gloves and mittens. I haven't tried them myself though. Honorable Beagle. TJ, you should come to Washington State and go to Mount Baker. Yeah, man, Baker is on the list of places I want to go. I've heard nothing but good things about Baker. I heard it's just totally insane, like great snowboarder mountain. So would love to check it out this year. I think there was a couple other people on the live chats that were saying they'd want to link up and show us around if we head down there. JC, does a cotton shirt mess up your layers? Um, I mean, if you're like getting really technical about it, I would say, the layer closest to your body should be something that like wicks wetness away from your body. People that are really into it will have like a proper base layer, like a t-shirt, like a shirt that wicks the wetness, like a proper mid layer, and then their shell. But personally, I wear a t-shirt over my base layer, and I think that's fine. So if you really want to get into it and, like maybe you're doing some backcountry stuff, that would be, or like a lot of hiking, I think those might be situations where it might be worth really kind of getting into it and doing it proper. But for just your everyday riding, I think, as long as you're going to match the conditions of the day, you should be fine. Thomas Boyle, do you have any recommendations of what footwear to wear around Whistler when not on the mountain? I've got some waterproof boots from Nike. They're called the Lunar Force, I think, boots, and they've been awesome. Really enjoy those. They're really comfortable and they're waterproof. They're like high top, so they keep all the snow out pretty much. So, maybe get like a pair of Sorels or, just some snow boots. Whistler gets a ton of snow, even in the village. They do a pretty good job of scraping it off the pathways in the village in the winter, but I'd just be prepared to have to trek through some snow. Lunez de Beat. Hey TJ, how do the Smiths compare to the flight decks fit wise? I've tried both, and flight deck was uncomfy with the sandbox helmet. Chromapop versus Prism. So I think the flight decks are, they're obviously more expensive. They're not going to come with a bonus lens like the Smith. So I think a lot of that added value comes from the construction. I think even like everything down to the foam is a little bit higher quality with the Oakleys. I do think that the Prism lens is a better lens than the Chromapop, but not by a huge margin. I think the Chromapop works very well, and but like little things like the frame, the quality of the frame and the foam I think Oakley has a little bit more quality there. And with the Classic 2.0, the helmet with the rounded brim, I actually found that the Oakley flight decks fit perfectly. It was like the curvature of the goggle matched the helmet perfectly. And the Smiths have been fitting pretty good as well. So maybe if you have the Legend, maybe I think it's a little bit flatter. So maybe the Smiths might fit a little bit better. But yeah, if you can bring your goggles into a shop and try the helmet on, that's usually the best way. But yeah, just a quick thought on that. Chris Shu, do you know Karua Shape snowboards? Ever rode one? I do know about Karua Shapes. I have not ridden them though, but I would really like to get on some of their boards. I really like what they're doing with the kind of surfy style boards, carving powder style boards. Bo, who I was talking about earlier, who's in Japan with us, going to be in Japan again this year. He's got a Karua Shapes. I think it's called the Apollo. So it's like a directional ASIM, I'm pretty sure. It's a pretty funky snowboard, but yeah, they make some good stuff, and I'd really like to get on some of their boards this year for sure. They're doing it right. Urban Creepers, what are your thoughts about skateboarding? Yeah, I'm a fan. Skateboarding. I started skating before I started snowboarding. Never got very good at skateboarding. It's so technical. Concrete really hurts to fall on, and honestly, just the town I grew up in didn't have a skate park, so I did some street skating. I used to like ollie stair sets and find little, like natural, um, like mani pads and stuff like that. But yeah, I'd like to. I think skateboarding is great for the off season too. I think a lot of the skill skateboarding can help transfer over to snowboarding and make you a better snowboarder. So if you're into snowboarding, skating is definitely a good thing, man. Jano, have you ever tried surfing? Um, Not really. I tried surfing once in the ocean on the Outer Banks of North Carolina with one of my best friends and didn't have a very successful go at it, but it was pretty fun. And then on the recent video where we were in Munich and we did the river surfing, those are the only times I've ever tried surfing, man. So if you count river surfing, then I've done it twice. Darth plays. If the Funslinger could be too soft, is there another board you could recommend for freestyle all mountain riding? Objective for the season is to do a 360 off medium jumps. Any advice on landing the three? Awesome, Darth. Yeah, man. If you want something that's a little sturdier than the Funslinger, but similar, you could check out the Prototype 2, man. Prototype 2 is a super fun snowboard, great all-arounder from Never Summer. Very, very, very similar, just a little bit stiffer. So yeah, check that one out. I think, doing threes off medium jumps, the Funslinger will probably be fine as well. But if you want something that's a little sturdier for like cruising at higher speeds and stuff, maybe check out the Proto. There are reviews on both of those boards on the channel, so you can check out the reviews if you want a little more info on those guys. And as far as advice for doing a 360 on the medium jump, I would say obviously, you definitely need to progress on smaller features. You don't need that big of a feature at all to get a 360 around. And, you're going to be kind of getting that rotation going with your head and shoulders, allowing your lower body to follow around. So with the front three, you can, you're going to be blind for a second before the landing. So if you feel sketchy and you just want to make sure you get the board around and you're not 100% sure, but you don't want to catch your edge, you can think about doing a front side shifty to get the rest of that spin around if you can't quite get your head all the way around. So that's a nice little backup plan. Hope maybe that'll help you out. But yeah, just progress on smaller features. Really look over your shoulder so your lower body can follow and get that rotation all the way around. Got a nice level pop. Yeah, you got it, man. Front threes are super fun. Great trick. Awesome, guys. Thank you for all the great questions here. Also, just so you guys know, I am going to be going live on Patreon today if you guys want to hang out there. I've got that linked down in the description if you want to check it out. Just another way to help to support our efforts here, and just a bit of a smaller group. Definitely make sure you get your questions answered over there. So we'll do about 30 minutes on Patreon. Carson Kidd, hey TJ, I'm looking to buy a new board that has a medium-ish flex that's still decent for jibbing. Any suggestions? Yeah, I think, you know, boards that have like a camrock profile around that flex range are going to be pretty good for you, Carson. So, you know, maybe like the Huck Knife, Yes Greats or Yes Basic. Those are all going to be good options. Yeah, boards like that. Maybe the K2 After Black might be a little bit stiff, but it's got that profile. But yeah, I'd be looking at like camrock profiles. Lee Robinson with the super chat. Shout out, Lee. Hey TJ, what do you think of Endeavor snowboards? I've never ridden an Endeavor board, although I would like to. I know they're a Canadian brand. I feel like they probably make some pretty quality stuff. One of my, I guess he's not really a friend, but someone I know from North Carolina used to ride for Forum. Maybe you guys know him as well. His name's Cam Pierce, local hero from NC. He rides for Endeavor. So I think he still does. I know he did for a few years. So I definitely would like to get on some of their boards, but I don't know a whole lot about them just because I've never ridden one. Ninja Nick, thanks for being here, man. Have a good night. Akela Mendoza from Colorado Springs. Shout out, Akela. Whistler is great, man. Yeah, I mean, can you see this? It's beautiful up here. Zeke Larson, do you have any tips for a method? Yeah, so actually I did a video in New Zealand called 5 Ways to Do a Method Grab. So check out that video. But I would say practice on snow so you can get comfortable with that twisting motion you have to do to get a proper method with the board facing downhill, and try to remember what it feels like when you're on snow. Like, say on your knees, you've got the grab, you know, you've got the rotation, and remember what that feels like, and you're gonna have to do that in the air. So it's gonna feel very similar. You're gonna have to really, you know, poke your leg out and stretch. And so I think that'd be my biggest tip. Acid Drop. Hey TJ, you need more of us ladies input on girl boards for all comers, all arounders. Yeah, definitely. Any feedback you guys have, if there is any ladies out there right now that want to, you know, share their thoughts on their boards, or if you see a review and you have the ladies' version of that board, it'd be awesome to hear your thoughts. Something I'm going to try to start doing this year is to also have the women's equivalent of any boards linked down in the description for all the board reviews. So I may even hop on a couple of ladies boards this year if I can find one that suits my weight. So that could be interesting. But yeah. Dame, what do you think is the best board on the cheaper side? Well, I did a video called Top 5 Best Value Snowboards on the channel recently, so check that one out. That'll give you 5 options. But my favorite one for brand new at a good price is the Arbor Formula Camber. I think that one it has the grip tech, it has the uprise fenders, mid flex, directional twin shape for $350 brand new. So that's a great one to check out. G, how can I wax a snowboard without taking off the bindings? I'm thinking about it because I rent a snowboard, but I think that I should use roll-on wax. Well, with roll-on wax or like rub-on wax, it's not going to really absorb into the base too well. So after you do a couple of runs, you know, the benefits of that are going to go away pretty quickly. So if you do want to wax it without taking the bindings off, you know, just set up a couple of chairs outside and just have the board resting on the nose and tail on the chairs upside down, and then just wax it up, man. Nice and easy. Bad Riders, what's up, Adam? Thoughts on the Nitro Quiver Cannonball? Oh, dude, I'm hoping to get on some of the nitro boards. One of the trips we have in mind is to the interior BC to Revelstoke. So I think I might be able to bring some nitros along on that trip. So maybe that'll be one of them. But right now, Adam, I'm not too familiar. I know the POW, I know the squash, and those are the two that I know the best on the Quiver series. Acid Drop saying they love their Oakley Prism lenses, not let them down, but they weren't cheap. That's true. Yep, Oakley Prism is a great lens, and they come in at a premium price for a reason. Thanks for all the questions today, guys. Red's Cap, what's up, Reggie? Video he recorded on the Hero 7 is partially missing the audio. Have you experienced that, or does my GoPro have a problem? Without a microphone plugged in, I've never had that issue, man. Yeah, if you're playing back the footage and then it cuts out, like it's just no audio at all, and you're not using a mic, so it's not a connection thing. It sounds like, yeah, maybe something's going on there. You can probably get that warranted, man. Maybe try to give it a few more tests and see if, you know, if it's something that happens regularly. But yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, Reggie. That's sick. You got the 7 though. Luna is bummed I didn't ride Napton's Donek. I know, man. I'm glad I got a video out, like collab with Ryan that day. He actually had a Donek up there, but I had to head back to Denver to take care of a couple things before my flight. So next time we meet up with Ryan Napton, review of the Napton Twin Donek going down 100%. I really want to ride one. He's got a few different variations of it, some that aren't as wide, some that have mellower side cuts, but I want to get on like the super wide, super ridiculous side cut one and try it out. So Ryan, if you're listening, man, we'll have to figure out a way to make this happen. Malavita or Cartel for a custom camber? I would go Malavita for sure. Malavita all the way. Venicky. Hey TJ, I want to try riding switch but have a directional board. Can I still ride switch on that? Absolutely, man. Yeah, you can totally ride switch on directional boards. The ones that have the really short stubby tails and like the swallow tails cut out can be a little bit more difficult to ride switch, but like most directional boards, you can totally ride switch on. They're gonna have a bit of a different feeling. I find that, you know, the setback stance and taper tend to throw you into a bit of a tighter turn as you're riding switch, so it has a bit of a different feel. So, you know, you probably won't want to be riding switch at super high speeds just because it's gonna feel a little bit weird, but you can totally do it, man. Go for it. Ho. What is your favorite place for snowboarding in Europe? From Juriges? Thanks for the question, man. And it's so tough to choose one particular place. I really enjoyed Switzerland. I think Austria is great as well. Um, but I think I'm just going to go with Switzerland for now. I'm sure that's going to change the more places that I ride in Europe, but Switzerland is awesome. Oh, Lauren with the tip. If you gently use a hair dryer with rub-on wax, it absorbs much better. Not as good as hot waxing, but it'll get you by for a day. That makes sense. That sounds like it would work. Get a little heat with the rub-on going on. Get it in those pores a little bit. Shout out Lauren for the tip. Brian Yu, do you have any tips on how to choose a park board, especially the length? Yeah, so length is going to be primarily based on your weight, man. So just make sure you fall within the weight range. I would say if you want the most true performance, what the reviews you've seen, the how they describe the board, you want to try to be kind of in the middle of that weight range. But that's going to be the way to go. And as far as choosing a particular board, check out the top 5 park boards video. That'll give you some ideas there. Ooh, Mezzy with the heavy question here. Hey TJ, can't decide between the DOA or Westmark camber for a do-it-all. Any recommendations? Mainly park and groomers. Both great boards, man. I would definitely recommend both of them. I think the advantages you're going to get with the Westmark is that you got those uprise fenders on the contact points, so it's that helps to make it a little bit less hooky and catchy. I think it is noticeable, and they're going to get the grip tech in the side cuts. That's probably the biggest advantage that you're going to get with the Westmark is if you're doing, getting on any icy snow or more technical stuff where maybe you'll need that extra edge hold. The Westmark is going to offer that a little bit more, whereas the DOA I think is really, really poppy. It's going to be a bit poppier than the Westmark, but they're pretty dang similar, man. I think you'll be stoked with either one. Marius Deemer. Hey TJ, did you test the Solomon Huck Knife 2019? I have not ridden the Huck Knife 2019 yet, but I would like to get on that one this year. The Huck Knife is a great board. Death Razor. Hey TJ, can't decide between the Twin Pig and the Evil Twin for a park/do-it-all board. Yeah, both good options. I think the 3BT that you get with the Evil Twin and that full positive camber profile is maybe a little bit better suited for jumps, in my opinion. I think the Evil Twin's really fun for jumping. They're both a pretty medium flex. The Evil Twin might be a little bit stiffer than the Twin Pig, but the biggest advantage you're going to get with the Twin Pig is it's wide. It's much wider than the Evil Twin, so you'll be able to lay it over a bit more aggressively for carbs and stuff, which is pretty fun. And you're going to have a little bit of rocker in the tips, so it might be a little bit easier to press and things like that. Yeah, man. I think I would decide, do you want that 3BT or do you want that width more? That would probably be the deciding factor. Snowboard Life 14 on the live chat asking if that is a resort behind me. Yes, that is. That is, I believe, that's Whistler Mountain right there. Yep, that's not Blackcomb, that's Whistler. Schwafia, looking for a second board that will be different. Warpig is the board that they already have. Thinking of the DOA, would that offer a different enough riding experience? Yeah, I think the DOA is going to be pretty different from the Warpig. The thing that stands out on the Warpig is the width primarily. It's just super wide. It's also got a much more directional shape going on than the DOA. So they're going to feel pretty different, but the Warpig is a good all-arounder as well. Yeah, you could also check out something like the Evil Twin, check out 3BT, that's going to be pretty different. But yeah, I think since you have the Warpig, a proper true twin is different enough to justify having in the quiver for sure. Awesome, guys. Let me make sure I didn't miss any super chats here. And we actually did have one that I missed here from Osvaldo. Why do resorts lag to open runs even though there's plenty of snow? Colorado resorts. Um, well, I think there's a couple of reasons. Um, First one might be that, you know, even though it looks like there's plenty of snow, maybe there's not. There's always tracks going down through from ski patrol, so they've tested it out. They know how deep it is, and they kind of help to make the call when that run is ready to open. So there might actually not be enough snow, and if there is, a lot of times I think it's personally, I've experienced this a couple of times. It's awesome when you get out there and you're riding like half the day, and then all of a sudden they drop ropes on terrain that's never been opened, and you just get like amazing powder in the middle of the day, super randomly. So I think they know that that stokes people out, so that's probably one reason as well. And there's probably more that I'm not thinking of, but I would say the first one is, you know, probably there's actually probably not enough snow most of the time. Lunez DeBeat rode the Evil Twin, Headspace, and Deep Thinker. I see why they're all favorites. Such fun boards. Yeah, man, 3 of my favorite boards. Glad you got to try them out and experience them. Good times on those boards for sure. Mewfit. Hey TJ, which one would you pick for Do It All? The GNU Mule Air or the GNU Rider's Choice? I'd go with the Rider's Choice, man, because the Mule Air I think is just a little bit too directional. Yeah, I think the Rider's Choice is going to be a little bit more versatile for you. For Do It All. Awesome, guys. Thanks for all the questions here today. Let's see if we can find a few more questions to answer here. L Stacker Adventures. Thumbnails, how do you make them? I think David Jones has a great video on thumbnails, but personally what I do is I'll find, you know, usually I'll take a screenshot from the video, just whatever, you know, trick or whatever I think looks good. Get that photo, and then I'll actually crop around the rider in the thumbnail and blur out the background and then add text. So it's all done in Photoshop, but that's my thumbnail style. But yeah, check out David's video. It's pretty good. Give you some ideas there. Ooh, Curtain T with a nice question here. What's the difference between a press and butters? I think a press usually refers to doing a trick on a rail, like a nose press or a tail press. It can also be used to describe butter tricks, and butters are done on snow. So like you know, a nose press or like a back 180 switch tail press, which is kind of like a nose press, would be more of a butter trick, or like a nose press while you're spinning on the snow would be more like a butter trick, whereas like a tail press on a rail or like a 180 press, that'd be more of a press. So same idea, different situations, I'd say. MS, Mount Baker, Stevens Pass, or Alpental. Haven't been to any of those places, man, but I think probably Baker. But I'm hoping to get down to Stevens this year as well. I think it's on one of our passes. Alex DeGarmo, thoughts on Dinosaurs Will Die boards? Awesome, thanks for the question, Alex. I haven't ridden any of their boards, but I actually have been in touch with Dyno this year. I think I'm going to be able to get reviews out on a few of their boards this season. So from what I know about them, they're just kind of like more like no frills, coming at a good price point, pretty simple to understand tech, and functional. So it'll be awesome to get on them and see how they ride. I think they'll be pretty fun. And they come in at such a good price. I'm really looking forward to seeing how they ride. And we got a super chat here. Hey TJ, picked up a pair of ADVs in black. So far they feel great. La Cantina Fund, see ya in Whistler. Ralph. Shout out Ralph. All right, looks like I'm gonna go to La Cantina for dinner today, guys. Thank you for all the super chats and the burrito taco fund hashtags. Really appreciate it. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, I'm really happy with the ADVs. They will break in a little bit. My first few days on them, I was like, man, these are like, maybe I made a mistake. These are too stiff. They're like too much response. I was also on new bindings too, so it took a little bit of getting used to, but they softened up a little bit. And I think, yeah, they're pretty good comparison to the TM2s I've been on. And another super chat here from Eli Muldoon. TJ, how is the Jane Leo board? Heard it was great. Uh, I'm not familiar with that board, man. Is the what brand is that? I'm not sure. Thanks for the super chat, though, man. I wish I could help you out more there. Harry, Force versus Strata. Looking at getting a pair for my Capita Mercury. Between those two, I'd probably go Strata, man. I think just the new footbed, the new strap, they've just been great so far. It's comparable performance though, for sure. So if you want to save a little money, you could go for the Force or get the Team Force. And we got Adam asking about the Strata review. It's coming, man. Gonna do the gear list first, and then Strata review will probably be the next video after that. We can talk more on Patreon. Rob Gams, TJ, are the cartels comparable to the Force for performance? I think so. I haven't ridden a pair of Burton cartels in a while. I've just been riding the Malavitas a lot, which I also think are quite similar to the Force. The Malavitas might be a little bit sturdier, but I would say comparable. Sure, we could use that word for sure. Zainab, how long have you been snowboarding? This is going to be, I believe, my 19th season. 18th or 19th season. It's been a while. But I got my first season pass in 2008. But I snowboarded for a while before that. Zane Miller, Arbor Formula thoughts. Arbor Formula, great snowboard, great price. I think it's a good all-arounder that comes in at a great price, man. You know, you're going to get that grip tech, you're going to get that directional twin shape, which will help float in powder. That grip tech's going to help bite down on ice. If you get the camber version, you get those uprise fenders. It comes in rocker or camber. Solid board, man. Check it out. Craig S. with the super chat. When you come into the East Coast, Corinthia is waiting for you. Also, when do you think you'll get an Orca review in? Oh man, yeah, East Coast, so many requests to go out east, and I think if we did go out east, I'd have to start in North Carolina. If I could talk Kevin into that, we'll see. But yeah, Corinthia would probably be the other. Corinthia is like high on the list as well. I've always wanted to ride Corinthia. So yeah, we'll see, man. I can't promise anything. And as far as the Orca review goes, I've heard from sources that it's been so popular already that it's pretty much sold out everywhere. All the stores that have it are pretty much already sold out. So I don't know that I'll even get a chance to review it. I hope so, but we will see. Kale Reynolds with the super chat, no question. Shout out for the support. E-Jump Zero. TJ, did you decide which part of Japan you're heading to? Yes, so it's going to be Niseko. We're pretty much going to be posted up in Niseko the whole time. I'm so stoked. It's going to be great. Mr. Matic from Slovenia. What's up, man? Acid Drop. Any plans to come to Breckenridge this year? I was just in Breck recently, but yeah, I would like to get back out to Colorado, and if we do, I'm sure we'll be out at Breckenridge. Definitely, if we do go to Colorado, though, like Crested Butte, Telluride, Steamboat, and Aspen are on the list as well. We can pretty much ride everywhere in Colorado with the Icon and the Epic, so But yeah, always got to hit up Breck, you know? Awesome. E-jump. Maybe we'll see you out there in Niseko. Hope you have a good travel out there. Awesome, guys. Well, I wanted to stay on a little bit longer this week, just because last week in Colorado, if you saw the live chat, it was so cold. My phone ended up dying, and had to cut the live chat a little bit early. So we're right at about an hour and 10 minutes right now. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and call the chat here. We got the sun going down as well, just starting to get shaded right here. So shout out to all of you guys for being here. Thank you for all the great questions. If you want to continue to hang out, you got any questions that you didn't get answered, I'm going to be going live on Patreon here for about another 30 minutes. So I got a link in the description if you want to check that out. Also, make sure to hit us up on Instagram. My handle is @Boardarchive. Kevin's is @Snowboardprocamp. Stay tuned for the Jones flagship snowboard review video that's going to be going live on the channel this evening in probably about 2 or 3 hours. And yeah, shout out for all the super chats as well, guys. Kale, Craig, Eli, Osvaldo, Lee, Matt, Jack, Stan, Justin, Bobby, John, Grant. So many super chats. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate all the burrito funds, taco funds. You guys are all legends. And we do the live chats twice a week. So gonna have another live chat on Friday. So if you got any questions for Kevin, he's going to be going live on Friday. And at that point, the resort here in Whistler will be open. So we won't be on my deck here. We will be on the mountain hanging out there. So hope to see you on Friday, and I will see you guys on Monday. Hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you on Patreon. Take care, guys.